Should Bristol Rovers access the free agent market? I say yes, but let's talk about why. Now, for me personally, we still lack depth in the goalkeeper and right-back department. So I'm going to give you two players in each of those positions that I think are actually quite attainable, not too ridiculous. I've tried to hold back here. So yeah, let's crack on with it. Now, let's start with right-back. Now, we have two natural right-backs at the club in Joel Senior and Jack Hunt. Both currently are injured or recovering from injury. So we now have no natural right back at the club. Joel Senior's looks quite serious. We won't see him for a while. Jack Hunt as well is just always injured. They're both quality, but as you can see, this is a problem. Jack Hunt is just seemingly never fit. He's brilliant player, but this was outlined last season when he only played 27 out of 51 available games. He hasn't played a competitive game since the 20th of April. That just doesn't, I don't know. He's only just back in training, and with his £4,100 a week reported salary at the Gas, I wouldn't be surprised if come January, if he doesn't prove his fitness, the club will be looking to potentially move him on. He's quality, but he's just never around. Joel Senior, on the other hand, averages about 34 games a season since his professional debut in 2017, which isn't bad-ish. But last season, he actually managed 50 appearances for Morecambe. As I've just alluded to, his current injury is quite bad, 8 to 12 weeks. I'd be surprised if we saw him again before mid-November. So we need another player in this position to prevent this problem going forward. And my first option in this position is Fankati Dabo. Made his professional debut in January 2017 when he signed on loan at Swindon Town, and he went on to make 15 appearances for them. Since then, he's accumulated 225 appearances for clubs like Vitesse, Sparta Rotterdam, Coventry, probably known from, and last season he signed for Forest Green Rovers. He averages 32 games a season in total, but on his day, he's absolute dynamite. He won League One in the 1920 season with the Sky Blues, and then was unfortunately one kick away from sending him up to the Premier League a couple seasons back. The abuse that this poor man received after that miss was astronomical. I mean, it really knocked his confidence. He came out with an interview and said that it was a £140 million miss. Since then, he's dropped down 2 leagues to sign for Forest Green. He got ridiculed by interim manager Troy Deeney, if you remember that as well. He didn't really have a successful time at Forest Green, let's be honest. He kind of got that hate from the weirdest bloke interview. Anyway, that's not a point. And they also got relegated. So, yeah. Quite clearly being too good to drop to the National League, he got released and he's still actually looking for a new club. He knows the EFL well with 162 appearances across all 3 divisions, and he's built a name up for himself amidst all the abuse and internet trolling. I can imagine he's looking to get settled at a club again after everything that's happened. And I actually think he'd be a very, very good asset for any EFL team that's looking for a right-back option. I'm not sure if he starts for us, but he's definitely good enough on his day. If he is fit, fully firing, I reckon he could be first choice. But, yeah, he's got a long way to go to get back to that point now. More mentally than in his game. I mean, put it this way. You don't play 84 games in the Championship if you're not a good right-back or a good player. Do you know what I mean? He was in the League One Team of the Year and won Coventry's Player of the Season in that 1920 campaign. That is how good he can be. 5'11", hard-working, technical, dynamic. It's a yes from me. Next option on the list. I mean, it's Kane Vincent-Young. Versatile across both full-back positions. I mean, in his Colchester days, he was causing waves of admiration and people listening out for his name. He was incredible. He won the 17-18 Young Player of the Season for them as well. He was absolute mustard. He then got his big move in August 2019 to Ipswich. They paid $700k for him, but it didn't really quite work out the way he'd hoped in East Anglia. He only made 64 appearances for them, but he can call himself a promotion winner because they got promoted out of League One into the Championship. So, playing 178 times across League 1 and 2, he can slot into both positions, either flank, which is really, really useful, as he demonstrated last season for Wycombe on a couple of occasions. Unfortunately, injuries have been Vincent Young's kryptonite, if you will. Since the 1920 season, he hasn't played more than 26 games in a season, so yeah, that's a problem. An athletic, strong, technically gifted fullback who, when fit, can comfortably be one of the best fullbacks in the league. But that's the question, when he's fit. Not playing a competitive game since February is a problem, is not ideal. And I know I sound hypocritical adding him into the list after what we're doing this whole this thread about, but it just, trust me, on his day, unbelievable player. On a free transfer, 100%. Get him fit, get him settled, and he will get you points. Only a few years ago, this guy was destined for the Premier League, and I actually think without his injuries, he would be there now. It reminds me of the Diabys, Wilshires, Richards kind of vibes, like the potential before injuries compared to their reality now after injuries. It's such a shame. He was decent for Wickham last season, but he can be a monster when he's fully fit and firing. So, yeah, keep an eye on him. And there are my two realistic options for the fullback position. I was so tempted to add Cyrus Christie into this, but when I actually take myself away and take my dreamlike brain off, obviously he's never going to sign for the gas, is he? Come on. Anyway, onto the goalkeeping options now. So Matt Hall is currently our second choice goalkeeper, although in the last 4 leagues matchday squads, Matt Taylor has not included him. He's opted to go with no keeper over including him. So that's, yeah. I mean, it's almost unheard of. Quite clearly, Matt Taylor doesn't think he's ready, obviously, hence the exclusion. He finally made his gas debut for us in the EFL Trophy in August against Spurs under-23s. He conceded 3 goals, one of which was directly from his error. That was really tough to see, you know, because obviously he's waited so long and he's got a bit of stick online. And yeah, I just felt for the kid because, yeah, no one wants to see that. No one wants to see that. And he's been handled wrong as well, I think. This is, I say, personally, get him alone. Get him some chances to prove himself and see what he can do when he comes back. So my first option is Jamal Blackman. Now, I was tempted to put people like Marco Morosi in this, but come on, guys. Come on, he's averaged 49 games a season over the last 3 seasons for Shrewsbury as their number 1. He's way too good to be a backup, would never accept being a backup, and rightly so. Now, some of you gassers may think, I recognise him. He played 10 games for us in the 1920 season. He's 6'6" and an absolute colossus between the sticks. He's expert shot saver as well. Played for some big clubs as well. He was highly thought of in Chelsea's academy. He's played for people like Huddersfield, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough, Los Angeles FC, Exeter, the list goes on. Burton last season. On that Burton one as well, it was weird because he only played 8 times for them. He's played 198 games, keeping 53 clean sheets, and most of those appearances have come in the Championship. On Wickham's Young Player of the Season in the 16-17 season. Since then, the accolades are dried up a little bit. But 2 seasons ago at Exeter, played 41 games. It just looked incredible. He looked back to his best. I actually remember watching him make a save when John Marcus went one-on-one with him down the mem, and it looked a clear goal, and he kind of pulled off this impossible save. It was unbelievable. Your more traditional mould of goalkeeper, tall, strong, commanding, you know, focuses more on his goalkeeping than his feet. So his ball playing ability might hinder him slightly, but let's be honest, with the saves that he makes throughout the season, you can forgive that. He's been at a different club every year for the past 10 years. He's never played more than 1 season at the same club. So if he's looking to be settled, we need a good backup keeper for a couple years now to come. So if he wants to settle, we've got that spot. We'll keep Josh Griffiths on his toes because he knows he's got a good keeper waiting in the wings. So it was all healthy for me. It's a yes from me. And then we have Nathan Shepherd. Now, although he never actually made an appearance for Wickham, he's still very highly thought of. A young, promising goalkeeper who started off at Swansea before he went to Brentford B and linked up with Gordon, Kramer, Cox, etc. Got his move to Ireland with Dundalk. Did really well, 79 games for them, 28 clean sheets. And then moving back to England, finally to the EFL with Wickham in February of this year. Made the bench 8 times, didn't actually end up playing for them, and then got released in July. Doesn't have many senior games, but he's got a lot of experience. He's already played in the UEFA Conference Europa League or whatever. And yeah, lots of clubs are in for him this summer. I'm running out of time. Young, low risk, high reward, all profit. I can see it. Rovers transfer window.